Alrighty, YouTube, welcome back to a brand new review. Today, I'll be going over how I'm up a little bit over $11,000 on the day, trading the S&P ES and the NASDAQ NQ. Today was a pretty rough day. We ended up taking a total of one trade with the community and had a pretty productive day overall, I'd say. It was a very challenging day, though, as you'll see later down the line. Today, I had my longest stream ever, which was crazy. It was about a 6-hour stream where we ended up holding the trade through entirely. Let's get into it here. Okay, make sure it's good. All right, cool. So yeah, a pretty hard session today. Kind of coming into the open, and as you guys know by now, if you've kind of watched the past couple of reviews, we kind of have a way and structure we go about how we specifically kind of identify when to exactly take a trade. If you haven't watched the reviews as of recent, you go back and kind of look. But again, first things first, we always do, we develop our bias coming into the open. And coming into the open, I was relatively bullish because we had seen kind of a new week opening gap created with a gap down through Friday's close into Sunday's open. And what you see Asia and what you see London do for the most part is you see those sessions kind of build back up, fill that new week opening gap, and show interest in driving back up. So through ES and NQ, you see both assets kind of just more so look to deliver that upside move past that new week opening gap, like we talked about, right? Came up here, filled, shot higher. And so from there, once we had filled that new week opening gap during Asia, it was all eyes on what we were going to do next. And we obviously vividly see price off London, off higher time frame, invalidate consecutive bearish PD arrays and internal buy side where we see price just drive up tremendously. And in combination with that, you also see a very bullish opening range move where you see price off the open, look to trade into its London high, and then look to showcase, interest in delivering higher. So when you have all those three components in one, our bias is pretty clear here. Now it is obviously, we're positioned to risk a certain size today. So the P&L you're about to see on these Lucid accounts, we took a trade, got trailed out, but you have to remember, right, with the way we more so go about in the group, certain days are, we have certain days where we're half sized and certain days where we're 1 hour sized. Today was a half sized day. And so we were taking trades with about the equivalent risk of $200 per trade. So we did end up getting trailed out, but today was a tough one because today was one of those days, chat, where you kind of look at price and you're like, dude, like, for the entirety of the session post the open, like where could you have been able to really capitalize? So days like these are really true tests of patience, in my opinion. And for me on a day like this, had I not taken this trade, or had anyone in my chat or for anyone who's trading, obviously, indexes today, right, you got tested a lot. So for the ES trade, after identifying bias, we saw a good push off the open. We saw PDH get ran previous day high, which for this would be our Friday high of day on New York. We then see price essentially come back up here. We then see price, again, like I said, run PDH. We then see price offer a retracement inside of a 5-minute fair value gap, I believe, injunction. I'm wrong. A 5-minute gap here. We saw a 5-minute gap retrace inside this gap. I don't know why I thought there was alignment there. But for me specifically, I was still bullish overall, despite us fulfilling this new week opening gap on ES here and NQ coming up here and also fulfilling its PDH as well. I felt as if draw was higher. And so for me, a great way to get an idea behind if price was also keen for higher is the reaction off it. So you see price essentially fill that new week opening gap. You see price on NQ run PDH. And every time we take a high, this is what I always talk about, right? Every time we take a high or low, it's the same thing, same way for the lows. If we come up and we see price kind of build up very bullish into a high, and say we take that high, you guys know we have one of two reactions through buy side take. We either see price take the high and we seek that retracement where we then see a price then put in a lower high and look to seek reversal back down lower, right? Or we see price come up, seek that bullish move, put in that high, look for that retrace, but then build right back up instead of creating a lower high. You see price essentially create a higher low here. And so for me specifically, although, I was very bullish here through utilizing our bias, I wanted to see price also be bullish here. So I felt with our entry in today's market, I felt a 5-minute gap retracement being how bullish price was, guys. I wasn't too eager for a deeper retrace because of how bullish price was, if that makes sense. Right, when you see price displaced in this way, this is not telling you that price is weak. It's not looking for a major retrace. This is telling you that price has a clear objective in delivering upside. So we see price come up here, we see price deliver that upside narrative. We then see that retrace, right? We see that 5-minute gap get tapped into, and I felt had price come up here and seen a closure over this 1-minute structure high, right, aka the lower high, because we had put in a high here, and then we had created a lower high here. I felt as price would most likely look to draw higher. And we see price kind of come up here, and you see the confirmation sequence on this trade engulf and close over at 10:13 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is when we took the trade. And then you see price more so look to immediately go off the open. In terms of my break-even point, it was a 5-minute gap, which was also inside of a 5-minute BPR. Right here. And my point of interest in going to break-even here is I wanted to keep it a respectable area where I felt, okay, once price could come into this area of interest, not mainly because of the BPR, but also as well because of the structure, because we have multiple arrays here. I felt as if price, were to come up here more so, price shouldn't need to come back down into entry, right? So if price were to draw all the way up into, this high right here, which we almost did initially, I felt price shouldn't need to come back down unless it wanted to seek potentially lower. And you don't see this end up, you don't see this happening until towards the end of the day. So we see price come up here. Again, we see price almost tease that 5-minute BPR, but we don't see price fulfill it. We then see price come down here. We deal a bit of drawdown. This is when price starts to consolidate, and this is where I'm talking about in terms of price, or in terms of the trade being 6 hours long. Chat, we held through all of this, right? We saw price initially go off the entry. We then see price just essentially, consolidate for the large part of the session. And we end up coming up here and teasing that take profit, which was a simple 15-minute wick high before higher liquidity here in this 30-minute BPR fill. And we can't even see price do that, right? So price was really slow today. I feel like today was kind of an extension of what last week was doing. But I feel like we did a really good job today recognizing that and simply moving on. I know we're not up the most money, but if you look at price after the open chat, tell me with a straight face that there's been an exceptional amount of opportunities here to be up a large sum of money. No. So what we end up doing here, the trade had it hit TP would have been a 1.8R, which means we would have been up a little bit over $400 per account. But we do end up realizing the day at around an $85 gain. Again, that's nothing much. But again, we are half risk today. So getting trailed out before TP1 off a half risk trade nets you a result like this. So tomorrow we're 1R risk, and when we go over the review, you guys probably will most likely see a higher impact on fluctuation in P&L, whether it's down or up. But yeah, that's kind of the day summed up. In terms of my P&L for being up a little bit over $11,000, it came from my personal account and also my Take Profit Trader live accounts in combination. And so yeah, a pretty compound type of day, nothing significant. But you see us take this trade. We were very optimistic in higher draw. We were right. That's the crazy part, is we were right. We just happened to get trailed out. And so yeah, that's pretty much the session. Not to overcomplicate it. I feel like, out of all the components, the bias was the best. Entry model was okay. Price action was good up until the point of entry, which when, as soon as we take the trade, we start seeing price slow down eventually, and we see price essentially at end of day, come back down and hit that trailed stop. We trail our stops here. Right, if you guys are curious, our trail stops right here. Let me actually pull up the Discord. Let's go here. Right, what you can see is me mention me more so the alert. I said long trade, sticking to conviction, letting this process play out. This is the Asia trade. I want break even. Excuse me. Where's it at? Okay, potential. You see me kind of give out the take and as potential taking this trade. I said would prefer a deeper retrace, but in case price is very bullish into further draw, entry still works. And then I mentioned I am long at confirmation, which was the closure candle of 1013, which is really good. And then we see price essentially slowly build up. You kind of see me post my P&L update of the day. and my chat and I were kind of trolling a little bit because it's like, I'm used to having these major P&L days in front of them, and then as soon as I start compounding these accounts for them, right, these challenge accounts, or these funded accounts for the stream, they're like, Lanto, 6 hours of holding, $85, and I'm like, yeah, that's how it is when you first start new accounts, right? If you truly want to compound, you don't care about the P&L, you just let the process take over. And so yeah, we'll see how we do in the future, right? We got to perform now, right? We got to make sure actions are taken in place as opposed to just speaking. So that's the review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. With that being said, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.